Thank you so much, Javi. Thank you for being here, dear colleagues. It is my pleasure to be here today with so many representatives, as has just been explained, of so many different countries from Latin America. I start by saying welcome to the House of European Democracy. It is a great honour to have you all here this week for this very important meeting of the Euro-Latin American Parliamentary Assembly. Give you a little bit of the picture of what we are seeing and how we are seeing the world today. We live in times of change and threats that we could not have imagined even a few months ago. Russia's criminal war of aggression against Ukraine has come to challenge everything we believe in and everything we stand for. It has come right after a terrible pandemic that shattered the world economy and cost millions of lives, just as we were starting to recover from COVID, Russia's illegal invasion and its terrible consequences triggered a worldwide food and energy crisis. Now let me be very clear at the very start. This food and energy crisis is by no means the result of international sanctions against Russia, as Kremlin propaganda claims. It is a direct consequence of Russia's illegal invasion in Ukraine and its blatant violation of universal principles of international law. Now, when we look at this war, what does it remind us? It reminds us that multilateralism and the preservation of a rules-based global order are preconditions for human development, for peace, for stability, security, prosperity, and all that allows humanity to develop. And this we must never forget, that the rules-based international order must be respected, that the sovereignty and territorial integrity of all countries must be guaranteed, that human rights cannot be violated, that peace must be preserved, democracy must be nurtured. These are principles that we have taken for granted for far too long. These are principles that we together, all together, in this room and beyond, must protect. And we have a duty to denounce and firmly condemn their violation in all multilateral fora. Together, Latin America and European countries account for around 1/3 of United Nations votes. Together, we must continue to work hand in hand on the international stage in order to defend the values on which our democracies are based and to uphold liberties that our citizens and countries ultimately fought with heart and blood to achieve. Let us not revert to a dark past of oppression of liberty and dignity. Strengthening relations between our two regions is a priority, especially as my colleague mentioned, Javi, as you mentioned, there are multiple opportunities. Next year will be crucial in this regard, where against the backdrop of a world in turmoil, for the benefit of all of us, the European Union and Latin America must work together in order to create room for dialogue and for peace. Together, the EU and Latin America make up over 1.1 billion people. We share values, we share historical ties, and we share cultural ties. Even football unites us, I can say this today. And with the World Cup ongoing, it's just in half-time now, we all know that only Latin American or European teams have ever won the World Cup. Now, let's get back. So together, I'm sure we can find the ways to make full use of our common strengths and potential. And let us max out on our existing special relationship. Yesterday, our High Representative, Josep Borrell, spoke to you about the road to 2023. This ambitious plan takes on board ideas that this Parliament has pushed on across groups, different political groups, different countries, different mandates, repeatedly. This road to 2023 will pave the way for an even stronger partnership between the European Union and Latin America. Dear colleagues, in 1999, when our strategic partnership was agreed in Rio, relations between Latin America, the Caribbean and the European Union were solid and they were ready to scale up. Let's be honest with ourselves. In 23 years, we have not advanced as much as we should have because we took our friendship for granted. We looked away. We used other excuses for not talking. But nevertheless, as we have heard, our regular Eurolat interparliamentary meetings over the years were always siempre conducted in good faith, in an atmosphere of true mutual respect, with maturity and with the support of our citizens. Our Eurolat Interparliamentary Assembly is a proud testimony to strong ties between our two regions, and so much unites us across the Atlantic. Together, we look forward to addressing a wide range of current global challenges. We may have different views on certain topics, but globally we have so much more in common. It is time to engage strategically, to enact policies, to mobilize resources. And together we will work on a forward-looking agenda for the betterment of our relations and common interests. Firstly, I am thinking about finalising and ratifying modernised association agreements with Mexico and Chile, as well as the EU trade agreement with Mercosur. Entry into force of these agreements will be a statement about the strength of our special partnership. And these agreements will open up new areas of cooperation and opportunities for our companies, our industries and citizens alike, because together, and only together, can we create wealth and develop sustainably. Second, we need to intensify political dialogue at all levels, and I welcome efforts to organise an EU CELAC summit in the second semester of 2023. This summit can offer a great opportunity to deepen our partnership, develop our joint vision and decide on joint action plans. Thirdly, this Assembly, Eurolat, the legislative arm of our interregional partnership, has a fundamental role to play. You, all of us, as elected parliamentarians, have solidified relations between our regions, steadily holding the torch throughout the past 7 years. While the EU CELAC summit was suspended, you have done remarkable work, and I encourage you to continue and give you my commitment that on behalf of all of us, we will be right here with you. Parliamentary diplomacy and democracy is of key importance. Long live that parliamentary democracy. Muchas gracias.